Have you ever wondered how different your life would be if that one thing never happened? To me, that one thing was taking a gap year in Toulouse, France. During the fall semester of my senior year in high school, the opportunity of taking a gap year abroad knocked on my door. At first, I didn't even consider it to be an option because it would obstruct the plan I already had. Graduate high school, go to college right away, and start medical school immediately. But after a while, I started to think about taking that amazing opportunity and how it would be a life-changing experience that would broaden my horizons and help me grow as a person and see things from a different perspective. It was something that I knew I wouldn't want to miss, and I knew that if I didn't take the chance, I would have regretted it for the rest of my life. The idea of starting off the adventure of a lifetime made me feel excited and thrilled, yet the only thing between me and that open door was the thought of being left behind. By now starting college right away, and the negative thoughts and opinions telling me that I was wasting my time and money and that I just couldn't do it. I started to think that everyone else would be ahead of me as if it was some sort of race, but in reality, I didn't realize I would be acquiring real-life experiences. One day, my mom sat me down and told me the following words: "Mija, fall in love with the idea of doing different things. Enjoy life and take your time. It is not a competition. Other people's timeline is not your timeline." And those were words that gave me something to think about for a very long time. At the age of 18, I made the decision of leaving the small, colorful island that saw me grow and flew to a whole other continent to experience this thrilling opportunity. In France, I experienced so many things that I wouldn't have been able to live or learn in the classroom. It literally changed my life, and I can say that I was able to grow in unimaginable ways. I acquired a sense of awareness that ignited in me the desire of becoming a more active citizen of the world. I became more confident, fearless, and independent while learning how to be and travel on my own. I became more empathetic and focused while awakening my sense of accountability. I discovered things about myself while learning to embrace the individuality of being me, and I built long-lasting friendships as I lived moments that are deeply treasured in my heart. Frederick once said, "Knowledge makes a man unfit to be a slave." And this really stayed with me as I studied his life and reflected on my own, because even though he was born a slave, once he acquired the ability to read and write, he had this thirst and hunger for obtaining more knowledge and discover the world around him, that a fire grew within him that couldn't be put out. They only enslaved his body, but they were never able to enslave his mind. However, on the other hand, my generation's mind is enslaved. Enslaved by social media, by the millions of what-ifs, by what others might say or think, by our self-doubt and insecurities, enslaved by what is expected of us, by the fear of not being good enough, by the fear of not being perfect. We're enslaved by the fear of failing or being different, but we don't realize that we cannot change the world if we're afraid of using our gifts and full potential because we're afraid of what others will say or because we're afraid of choosing a different path. As minorities, we carry the chains of the stereotypes and biases that others have put on us as we're constantly stripped of thousands of opportunities. But all of our achievements somehow seem to be because of affirmative action instead of our own abilities and hard work. By definition, the word minority refers to a racial, ethnic, religious, or social subdivision of society that is subordinate to the dominant group in political, financial, or social power, regardless of the size of these groups. And personally, I am not okay with this definition, since it reinforces a power structure and places the individuals in question in a position of inferiority in society without acknowledging how the individual feels. Language matters, and words are impactful. We are not minorities. We've been minoritized. We're not underrepresented. We have been historically excluded, and it is time to break those chains. Like many, I left my country in the search for a better life and more opportunities so that I can follow my dreams and help my community. This is my flag, and I promised myself that I would proudly lift it high no matter where I go, and I'm going to be true to that promise. I am a sophomore at the University of Buffalo, majoring in neuroscience with a minor in pharmacology and toxicology on the pre-med track. My dream is to become a child neurologist, and I would love to have the opportunity of being able to understand global perspectives in medicine, to close the cultural, societal, and ethnical gaps in the healthcare system, so that it is equally accessible and fair to everyone. I want to be an ambassador and a trailblazer to show those like me that we're able, capable, and deserving of good things, that we can achieve our goals and that we too deserve a place on the table, and that we can and should unapologetically advocate for our rights. I want this opportunity for the ones before me, for all the sacrifices that generation after generation have been made so that I can have the opportunity of being here today. I want this for the ones coming after me, because I surely won't be the last one to achieve great things. I want this because it is much more than just a summer abroad program, but because it is an opportunity to educate and better myself, grow and experience life in a different, more meaningful way. I want this because I want to set an example and show others that just because our path is different and our journey is long, our path is there to be walked. My name is María Hernández, and I want this opportunity because I want to be able to close gaps and build bridges between cultures and to prove that we can. I want this opportunity because I have nothing to lose, places to see, and the world to change.